everybody, it's Beth here from Elysia. So we're doing another cooking tutorial, and I asked yesterday what you guys would want to see more. So the winner was pesto, so we're going to do some pesto today. And the difference is I'm going to make pesto with what we've got lying around to show how versatile it can be. It's a really good way of using up leftovers as well. So to start, I'm also going to make it without a food processor because not everyone's got one. So I want to show that you can make one just with a knife and a chopping board and whatever you've got lying around. So to start, I'm going to use parsley because this is what we've got. We've used some of it, and there's some nice stalks that you can put in as well that are really delicious. We've got a handful of walnuts. Walnuts are really great in it as well as pine nuts. You can use seeds as well if you're allergic to nuts. You could put pistachios, you could put cashews, anything you wanted like that. We've got some garlic, salt and pepper, and some really good quality olive oil. So to start, I've got a tip to crush the garlic, so you don't need a garlic crusher. So what I've got here is a chopping board, which I have put a wet piece of cloth underneath. So that makes sure it stays in place. You can use a wet tea towel as well if you don't have any blue roll. So to start, I'm going to get the garlic clove, and an easier way than peeling it and getting kind of it all in your fingers is to just put the garlic clove down the board and give it a bash like this, and straight away the peel's gone. So it's a really good way of removing the peel easily. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pinch of salt and I'm going to pour it on top of the garlic clove like this, and then I'm going to start pushing down on my knife to just crush the garlic, and the salt will work as an abrasive and it will actually start to break down the garlic. So when you've got to the stage where it's nice and flat, take the flat edge of your knife and have it kind of like horizontal like this, and slowly start pushing down, basically to start crushing the garlic. Start pushing down on the board. And because it's flat, you can use quite a lot of force. And then you see that we're starting to get a nice paste on the garlic. This is really good as well if you're doing large quantities, and it means that you don't have to do any more washing up. You don't have to wash up the garlic crusher. So there we've got a nice paste. I'm going to pop this in our mixing bowl. So next up, I'm going to do the walnuts. So instead of blitzing these up, I'm going to start with the back of my knife to start breaking them up like this. And when they're in kind of smaller pieces, start giving them a chop. You can do this in a pestle and mortar if you've got one, or in a food processor. But if you're making small quantities, it really actually, by the time you've got it out and you've cleaned it up at the end and you've got all the parts, it's actually quicker to just do it on the chopping board. And I kind of like the chunky texture as well, especially when you're having it with pasta. It gives a nice crunch. So, nearly there. So what I'm doing is I'm using my hand on the front of the knife to keep it down, and then the back of the knife, I'm just rolling down. So the top of the knife is not actually touching, it's staying on the board, so it's not actually getting off the board at all. And there we go. So now we've got our chopped up walnuts. I'm going to pop these in the mixing bowl as well. And then on to our parsley. Make sure you remove the elastic band. That's quite important. So, the easy way of chopping this up really finely is to get it all into one kind of big sausage shape. Hold it down, and then really slowly start to slice as thin as you can on the stalks like this, so you can actually get it really nice and fine. The stalks are really good, they've got plenty of flavour, and they're less delicate than the leaves. this much because I think that's about enough that I need. So I would say a handful of walnuts. You need 2 handfuls of the herbs, pinch of salt, pinch of pepper, and some olive oil, and just until you got this consistency you want. Now that we've got this into kind of like finely chopped, we want to just make sure we go over it again and get any last bits. Any herbs as well you can use. Obviously you can use basil, but rocket's really delicious. If you've got some rocket lying around, watercress, again really nice strong peppery flavour. Like a mixture of all of the 3. So if you are using a pestle and mortar, I would recommend you chop the herbs up a little bit before you add them in, so it's easy to bash. So there we go. We've got a nice fine chop on our herbs. So these are going to go into the bowl as well. Just got a quick tidy. So now all of the hard ingredients are in the bowl. I'm just going to add enough olive oil that I get a kind of sauce, and it depends what you're using it for. So if you want it quite thick, obviously use less oil. I'm not using any parmesan here because I want it to be vegan, but if you want to use hard cheese, you can even use cheddar, you can use pecorino, parmesan, any hard cheese works really well too. So I'm just going to add a little bit more. And now finish off with some pepper. And I'm going to check here the seasoning. Because I added a little bit of salt at the beginning with the garlic clove, I only need a tiny little bit more. Really good. Cool. So now I'm going to put it into my bowl. There is our pesto. It's very versatile. You can use this as a base if you put it onto flatbreads. We did a flatbread video on Instagram stories as well. If you want to check that out, it'd be really good to have with this. If you want to have it in a sandwich, with pasta and lasagna. Yeah, so many things you can do. Very, very versatile, and it freezes super well too. So before we try it, I'm going to get Rose over to come and try with me.
Oh, yay.
A nice little break from doing the home deliveries.
Let's give this a go. Oh my god, it looks lovely. I like that you've cut it all up. Oh my god, delicious.
It's great. Breakfast.
Yeah.
Sorted.